Coal is a natural resource created by the fossilization of organic matter millions of years ago. Coal is important to America as it is used for half of U.S. electricity. Coal has many impurities including pyrite minerals, which create sulfuric acid and iron hydroxides when exposed to air. Both of these chemicals have negative impacts on ecosystems due to leaving traces of sulfate, calcium, and magnesium in water. Mountaintop mining with valley fill is the extraction of coal through the removal of forest, topsoil, loose dirt, and rock using machinery and explosives. The debris and rubble from extraction is disposed of by simply pushing it into nearby valleys. When this is done, streams become buried under all the overburden. Prior to extraction, the coal is cleaned, which leaves behind water contaminated with pyrite minerals, creating slurry ponds. Regulations require that after mining, companies need to do reclamation activities, which attempt to restore the destroyed land but often fall short of being useful. The agencies that oversee mining regulations include the Environmental Protection Agency, Army Corps of Engineers, and the Environmental and Natural Resource Department of state governments. The specific acts that are currently in place include the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act and the Clean Water Act. The Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act instates regulation on surface mines and the restoration of used mines, and the Clean Water Act aims to protect U.S. waters from contaminants such as pyrite minerals.
There are many negative effects of MTVF, including the amount of runoff and waste that finds itself in local waterways. While these waterways are still protected by numerous acts and regulations, most of the damage is actually done through destruction of habitat from burying the streams. Many aspects of the ecosystem are negatively affected, including insects, marine plants, and indirectly mammals who rely on the streams for drinking water. The headwaters and streams themselves can also create a chain reaction that affects the many larger rivers that they feed into. Most of the local effects come into play with habitat loss and water quality. The negative effects on the water quality can be due to high deposits of sulfates and increased sediments that flow due to the soil bed being disrupted by mining. Some areas can see up to a 40-fold increase of the sulfate levels, which can be toxic. These increased sulfur and phosphorus levels are toxic to native flora and fauna in the streams and eventually rivers. This also leads to increased erosion due to the loss of plant life from the poor water quality, which all in all links back to the immense habitat loss.
There are not only local effects of mountaintop coal removal and mining. The downstream effect of coal mining in these areas, there's exports of sediments and solutes that go downstream from the mined areas. And this can do multiple things to the waterways. The sediments can settle on the riverbanks, alter the flow and shift the flow because of the increased runoff. It can ruin cropped areas and also ruin biodiverse areas next to the water that puts nutrients in the water, as well as contaminate drinking water for millions of citizens. And Duke University in 2015 did a study of streams on the Mud River watershed, which sits in Lincoln County, West Virginia, atop the Hobart 21 coal mine, which dumps into the watershed, and they found that further upstream into the watershed they went, there was a heavier selenium content that was found to be poisonous in the water.
Some of the things that are being done to mitigate the impacts include reshaping and recontouring the landscapes, adding artificial soil, and constructing artificial streams. Some of the limitations of these include incomplete ecosystem recovery. Some of the streams that are being built lack the natural biodiversity. Another one is ongoing water contamination. Pollutants like sulfate and metals still continue to impact these streams. And then lasting hydrological changes such as runoff and disrupted flow of streams, and regulatory gaps such as policies that fail to fully prevent lasting environmental harm.
So, what can be concluded about mountaintop removal and mountaintop mining of valley fill is that both highly destructive, and we see that because it's talked about in the PowerPoint, to the environment, people's health, social life, animal health, all that stuff. And along with that, it's such a huge sacrifice because you're putting in so much money and you're losing so much um, land and you're losing a bunch of trees, habitats, animals, plants, all of that. And that does affect people because when you think about it, you're putting all this money into this, but where that money could be going other places. Um, that's why it's a short-term economic benefits because they'll make money off things right away by doing this, but over time, it's really affecting the economic nature. So overall, it is very unhealthy for pretty much every aspect of life. And yeah.
One thing that can help improve the deficiency in reclamation would be how many mining permits they give out for each basin. They add up to more noticeable effects each time. The biggest thing would be focusing more on the ecosystem functions when rebuilding. Although they make the streams appear the same as before, they are more damaged than before. They are not able to decompose organic matter or process nutrients. They should be measured to the correct levels to bring them back and have the ecosystem working the correct way again.